Chapter 5 of the Bhagavad Gita, Disciplined Use of Opportunities by a Yogi. Arjuna said, "You approved of renunciation of social activity and also mentioned the application of yoga to worldly life. Which of these is better? Tell me this with certainty." The Blessed Lord said, "Both methods, the total renunciation of social opportunities and the disciplined use of opportunities by a yogi, lead to ultimate happiness. But of the two aspects, the disciplined use of opportunities in a yogic mood is better than total renunciation of cultural activity. Indeed, a person who neither dislikes nor craves, who is indifferent to opposite features, should be recognized as a consistent renouncer, O strong-armed man. He is easily freed from implication. It is the simple-minded people, not the perceptive speakers, who say that Samkhya ideas and yoga practices are separate. Even if one method is practiced correctly, the practitioner gets the result of either. The level obtained by the Samkhya experts is also reached by the yogis. Samkhya and yoga are essentially one. He who perceives that really sees. Renunciation of opportunities is difficult to attain without yoga practice, O mighty man. In the nick of time, a yoga proficient sage reaches the spiritual plane. A person who is proficient in yoga, whose soul is purified, who is self-controlled, who has conquered his senses, whose self feels related to all beings, is not implicated when acting. I do not initiate anything. Being proficient in yoga, this is what the knower of reality thinks. While seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, walking, sleeping, and breathing, while talking, evacuating, holding, opening and closing the eyelids, he considers, the senses are interlocked with the attractive objects. Being focused on the spiritual level, discarding attachments, his acts are not defiled by necessary violence, just as a lotus leaf is not affected by water. With the body, mind, and intelligence, or even with the senses alone, the yogis, having discarded attachment, perform cultural acts for self-purification. The person who is proficient in yoga and who abandons the rewards of cultural activity obtains steady peace. The person who is not proficient in yoga, being attached to results, is bound by desire-motivated action. Renouncing all action with the mind, the embodied soul resides happily within as the director of the 9-gated city, not acting nor causing activity. The Lord does not create the means of action, nor the action of the creatures, nor the action-consequence cycle, but the inherent nature causes this. The Almighty God does not receive from anyone an evil consequence nor a good action or reaction. The knowledge of this is shrouded by ignorance through which the people are deluded. However, for those in whose souls the ignorance is removed by experience, that revelation of theirs will cause the supreme truth to appear distinctly like the sun. Those whose intellects are situated in that supreme truth, whose souls are focused on it, whose basic reference is that, whose faults are removed by the experience, who aspire to that as the highest reality, never go again to rebirth. in a learned, trained, accomplished Brahmin, in a cow, an elephant, a dog, or a dog flesh eater. The scripturally conversant mystic seers observe a common factor. Here in this world, birth is conquered by those whose minds are established in impartiality. Indeed, pure spirit is faultless and equally disposed. Therefore, they are established on the pure spiritual plane. Having attained a desired item or favorable circumstance, a person should not become excited. Having attained something unpleasant, he should not detest it. With stable intelligence, without confusion, a person who continually experiences the spiritual reality remains situated on the spiritual plane. The person who is not attached to the external sensations, who finds happiness in the spirit, whose spirit is linked to the spiritual plane through yoga process, makes contact with the non-fluctuating happiness. The pleasures that come from sensual contacts are sources of pain. They have a beginning and an ending, O son of Kunti. A wise person never delights in them. The person who, before leaving the body, endures the craving-based, anger-based impulsions is disciplined. He is a happy human being. The person who is happy within, who is spiritually delighted, and as a result experiences the brilliant consciousness, he, that yogi, experiences the stoppage of disturbing sensuality and attains constant spirituality in absorption on the spiritual plane. Those seers whose sins and faults are terminated, whose doubts are removed, whose souls are restrained, who find joy in regarding the welfare of the creatures, attain a cessation of their material existence and a simultaneous absorption in spirituality. The cessation of material existence and assumption of enlightened spirituality is soon to be attained by those ascetics whose thinking is restrained and who understand the spiritual self. Excluding the external sensual contacts and fixing the visual focus between the eyebrows, pulling inhalation and exhalation in balance, moving through the nose, the wise man who is dedicated to achieving liberation, whose sensual energy, mind, and intellect are controlled, whose desire, fear, and anger are gone, is liberated always. Recognizing me as the enjoyer of religious ceremonies and austerities, the supreme God of the entire world, the friend of the creatures, he attains spiritual peace. That's chapter 5 of the Bhagavad Gita, Michael Beloved translation. I'm doing a straight read through of each chapter, one video at a time. No commentaries. If you would like the commentary of this translation, it is called Bhagavad Gita Explained, and it's available on Amazon and at michaelbeloved.com. Thanks for listening.